Hi everyone. Trying out yet another new spot, new process, new all the things. So this is the first of 3 videos that I am filming today. This first of which is my June wrap up, with which I read 5 books. And they're like books. June was a fantastic reading month for me. This video is coming a little late because I actually literally just got home from a vacation. I was in New York for a few days, and then I was visiting family, and so now I'm back, and I'm very happy to be back, but I have a lot of things to do now that I'm home. So the first of which is to film my wonderful June wrap up. So without further ado, here we go. These are not in any particular order. Maybe they will be, if I can remember what order I finished them in. This might be accurate. I don't remember. Anyway, the first of which is The Other Windsor Girl by Georgie Blalock. I thought this book was very fun. I could not remember the synopsis every time I kind of looked at it. I knew that it featured Princess Margaret, it being kind of a story about her, but it's told in the point of view of one of her ladies in waiting, slash one of her biggest confidants, friends, all the things. I believe this is a heavily fictionalized story. I don't believe it's based anything. I mean, there could be some truth here. But it was just an interesting story to read and hear about, kind of what it would have been like, being a lady in waiting to the second, as it were, and kind of what that looked like, especially over the course of her life, because Princess Margaret didn't have it easy the whole time. So it was, I really enjoyed reading this book, and hearing kind of a lot about those sorts of things. Next up we have the book club book for June, and that was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This book was very interesting. I think that's the best way to put it. I believe I gave it 3 or 4 stars on Goodreads. It was one of the 2. There were just a lot of things where you didn't, which I think is the point. I didn't like the main character. I think that is the point. Because it's basically about a story of 2 authors who kind of were always seen to be rivals. But then there's a traumatic incident, and these 2 authors are hanging out, and one of them dies. And she's an Asian author. And the white author takes her manuscripts and publishes the book in her own name with a pseudonym of sorts, using her middle name as her last name, which is a more Asian, could be seen as an Asian name, to make her seem like this could have been her work, and fully steals it, all the things. And then we get later in the book and she does it again, but then there's also calls into question the publishing industry and what that looks like and whose work is what, because the author she stole from kind of, quote unquote, they said stole from other people, but was really just writing a historical fiction novel with the voices of other people. And it was a very, if you have a book club, I highly recommend this book to read and talk about, because it sparked a lot of great conversation, but it just called into question a lot of things that I don't know the answers to. And I think that's a good thing. But it made the book very difficult, to say the least. yeah. The next book that I read this month was the finale to the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan, The Tower of Nero. This is a great culmination to the end of the story. I'm very excited to get into all of Rick Riordan's other books now that I finished this book finally, and it was great. I may end up doing a spoilery discussion of this series at some point because I want to be able to talk about my thoughts, but I can't do that when it's a 5th book in a series. So just know I loved it. I love Rick. He's still my favorite. And he did it again. So anyway, the next book that I finished, it's a big one, and I could not stop talking about it after I finished it. And that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book, I have started to, every night before I go to bed, I listen to either a chapter or two or about an hour's worth of an audiobook, play on my phone, and it's kind of like my wind down from the day. Or I do a Lego project, or I color, or I whatever. This was this book for a while because it's thick. I got to a point where there were things happening in the story, and I was like, I can't listen to this part. We have a cat coming in. I was like, I can't listen to this part. I have to physically read it. Well, that was at 10 o'clock at night, and I had 150 pages left, and I finished it. I haven't done that with a book in a long time, and I have no words. This book was amazing. It was incredibly well done. I want to talk to somebody about it so badly. I might end up doing a review video about this one. I don't know. It was phenomenal. You want to say hi? This is Loki. He had to make an appearance because he is obnoxious. And then the final book that I finished this month, you're just gonna have a tail in the video every once in a while, was The Windsor Diaries. My Childhood with the Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret by Alethea Fitzalan Howard. And this book was something that I kind of read and then listened to and read and listened to. It was a very good kind of choppy book depending on how I was feeling. Obviously it went much faster when I read it physically because it's told in complete letter form, because it's just Alethea's diary for this 4.5-5 year period in a book. And it's set during World War II. I read a lot of World War II this month. It's set during World War II and kind of talks very openly about kind of her life during, no, let's not do that, dude. During that time and kind of her relationship with the princesses and what that looked like. And it was a very good read. Just very interesting to see kind of behind the door. I think Alethea herself was a very vain teen, early 20s, because she was about 5, 6, 7 years older than Elizabeth, I think. And there was some vanity there, things that we don't know because it was just her diary and her voice. But at the same time, you're a young woman during one of the biggest wars, if not the biggest war, and what does that look like? And you're trying to focus on your personal diaries, things. So it being published kind of is an interesting thing within, what are we doing? Within, the world. So was still kind of an interesting book to read and kind of a nice thing to see from a perspective that, you know, we don't often get to see. But yeah, and see what that looked like. So anyway, that is it for this video today. I'm about to film a bit of a book haul from the last few weeks and my July TBR, which is looking a little massive. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys all in my next one, whenever that is. Goodbye!